Hello, I'm Luke Ford. I write the website lukeford.net, and I'm the subject of a well-written and none too flattering cover story in the Jewish Journal of August 3rd, 2007. And Brad A. Greenberg wrote it. Here's an excerpt. Ford credits his Jewish conversion to the wisdom of talk radio host Dennis Prager, whom he heard speaking about Judaism when Ford was bedridden with chronic fatigue syndrome after dropping out of UCLA. Two began talking regularly by phone, but then Ford bought the domain name DennisPrager.net and used it to lambast the man he loved like a father. That info has all been moved over to LukeFord.net. Prager has since completely distanced himself. He was neither a pupil nor a friend, said Prager in a brief interview. I think I appealed to something good in him at some point, and I hope I did, but I don't know. So this description here in Brad's article is not quite accurate. We didn't begin talking regularly by phone. Dennis Prager phoned me once, when I was ill. He responded to a letter I'd written him and invited me to sit in on his radio show. So other than that, all our telephone conversations were on his radio show. And I did buy the domain name DennisPrager.net. The subject of that website was Dennis Prager, and on every page I had a disclaimer that Dennis Prager did not own the site, that it was my unauthorized website about Dennis Prager. But even though I had that disclaimer on the site, so many people thought that I was running Dennis Prager's official site that I gave up in 2001, gave the domain name to Dennis Prager, and just moved all that content over to LukeFord.net. And as for that content lambasting the man he loved, again, when I say that, I love God, does that mean that love is the only emotion that I have towards God? Of course not. I also have, hatred and rage, and some days complete lack of interest, and some days I just want to ignore God and at least put God aside for a few hours. And I love my parents, but is love the only emotion that I have towards my parents? Of course not. Or I may love, a girlfriend, but is love the only emotion that I have? And so, I may say, or I may, have love for Dennis Prager, but is that the only emotion that I have? And I don't think it's fair to describe my writing about Dennis Prager as, primarily lambasting the man I love. I try to respond to Dennis Prager like I respond to everyone through my writing. I try to write with all of my heart and all of my soul, all of my might. I believe that negative emotions are just as valid emotions as positive ones, and criticism of Dennis Prager or anyone else or any other topic that I write about is just as valid as praise. So I try to come at my topics, including Dennis Prager, with a full open heart that contains a whole range of emotions, and sometimes I agree with Prager and sometimes I disagree, and I try to bring everything to my writing. So check it all out, decide for yourself. LukeFord.net. I have a section where I update regularly on what Dennis Prager is saying on his radio show, or if I've heard him in a lecture. I'll transcribe it or link to various posts about Dennis Prager. I'm Luke Ford. Thanks for listening.